Here's an interesting question. Because in the past, you've said that you could beat Bruce Lee in a fight just because there's a sheer size difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if you and Bruce Lee were the exact same size, based on technique? If he was just as big and heavy as you.
Okay. I hate this area. Let me take me out of the situation. If Bruce Lee were to fight a professional fighter that's his size, it'd be very difficult for him to beat that person. Be very difficult for him to beat that person because Bruce Lee was not a fighter. That's not his skill set.
He was an actor.
Yeah, he's a martial artist, the greatest martial artist who ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, everything, the way he lived, but he was not a fighter. I'm sorry. It's a whole different skill set. It's ugly.
Okay.
You trade blows. You see people who are 132 pounds fight each other. It's like Ren and Stimpy. They beat the shit out of each other and nobody falls out.
Right.
They hit each other 100 times in a round. You understand? That shit's ugly, right? So you can't tell what's going to happen. It's just not fair for me to say to a professional fighter who's been hit in the head thousands of times and fight a guy who doesn't and say that you guys are equal.
Okay, so here's another one. An actual fight between Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan.
An actual fight? What I would think?
Yeah, who would win that fight?
I think Jackie Chan would win.
I mean, is not a professional fighter, but he is a.
I would. If I was a betting man, I'd say Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan was bigger.
Okay, just because of his physical size. Have you met Jackie Chan before?
Briefly, yeah.
How tall is he?
He's not a small guy.
Okay.
I would say Jackie Chan's about 5'8", 5'9". 5'9", yeah, it was 5'8", 5'9". And he's durable. That's a tough dude.
143 pounds. Kind of on the light side.
Yeah, it was a lot heavier than Bruce Lee. That's a major difference in a fight game. Okay, major difference. And as far as ability,
Bruce Lee's 5'8", same height.
I don't think that's correct. I think they said that he's 5'8", but I don't believe so.
Yeah, I also see 5'7" and a quarter. So yeah, maybe 2 inches.
Well, yeah. You know, but I mean, you know, it's I would say because I know a lot of people who trained with Bruce Lee and knew Bruce Lee, like people like literally. On my birthday a few weeks ago, I'm training with Bill Wallace yet again, which is one of my instructors. Mm-hmm. These guys they know. Joe Louis, so there's so many people who've trained with Bruce Lee and sparred with him and all that. So I know about his abilities of fighting because these people, they wouldn't lie and they love Bruce Lee as well. Why would they? You know, it's just it is what it is. Like there were people like Benny Urquidez around. Like Bruce Lee couldn't fight Benny Urquidez. That would be terrible. Benny Urquidez is a badass fighter, like a real fighter, like who can, you know, walk through you. And I mean, like I say, fighting is, it's just different, you know. And when I try to explain the weight difference to people who are, you know, super fans. They're not going to understand that. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get it because, thankfully, like the allure of somebody small beating everybody is fun.
Well, I mean, look at Mayweather versus Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul was physically a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Mayweather clearly won that fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, are you?
So you have instances of smaller guys beating physically much bigger guys with technique.
When technique is far different. I mean, Mayweather's the greatest. I think he is the most talented boxer who's ever lived.
I agree.
He's got talents that nobody has. It may not
Agreed.
be my favorite, but there's no arguing of his dominance.
And look at his record. No one has a record like that.
Right, yeah.
For a reason. It's not like he ducked everyone. No.
Yeah, but, so Mayweather fighting a guy that he is going to be very difficult for him to knock him out because he's too big. That plays into what I'm saying.
Well, Mayweather rarely knocks anyone out, even people in his own weight class.
No, people in his weight class. He
has knocked out a few people, but most Mayweather fights do not end in knockouts.
I think that was a choice of it. Like when the early days of Mayweather, he steamrolled over major badass people. Like,
yeah.
So, but again, is he going to knock out a guy that heavy? It's hard. And then you're talking about real fights and everything else, and you're talking about kicking, and it becomes different. You got these pillows on your hands, right?
Right.
It's a bit different.
Well, in professional fights, those are very thin pillows.
That's boxing those are pretty big. When you're talking about as opposed to martial arts, where I'm using my fist.
Okay, you're right. I mean, a UFC glove is definitely way less padded than a boxing glove. But boxing gloves, man. I mean, I've put on real boxing gloves. Those motherfuckers are kind of thin, man.
Have you ever been kicked by a shin or a foot?
No.
It's very different. It's very different. A shin to your skull is pretty damn different. Yeah, it's a lot different than a boxing glove.